Hi moms and dads, Dr. Nicole here with a family-friendly tech tip. We're going to talk about sleep today. We all know how important sleep is for our brain function as well as our physical health, and that's especially true for kids. Kids need even more sleep than adults, and the impact of too little sleep is more severe for kids. But did you know that screen time can play a role in sleep problems that kids can have? Here's three main ways that we see that happen. The first is that when we use devices, whether it's tablets, computers, smartphones, any of those kinds of things, later in the evening, it tricks our brain into thinking that it's daytime. And instead of the brain then producing more melatonin, which is the hormone that helps us get sleepy and fall asleep at night, the brain goes, oh, it's daytime. This light coming into our eyes makes us think it's daytime. The brain stops producing melatonin and it makes it much harder for us to go to sleep. That happens for kids and adults, but what the research is showing us now is that kids are even more susceptible to that. So when kids are using these devices, particularly screens that are up close to their face later and later into the evening, that can really have a negative impact on their ability to fall asleep. A second issue is the overstimulation that can come from what kids are doing on devices. So if they're playing really action-packed games or watching things that are very stimulating either mentally or emotionally for them, that can also make it harder for them to wind down then to fall asleep. And the third area where I really see screen time negatively impacting sleep for kids and teens, and this tends to be more an issue for preteens and teens, is that when they've got devices in their room at night, they're constantly being disrupted in their sleep by notifications, by things that are happening on the phone. So they're getting text messages, or if they wake up and use the bathroom in the night, they just roll over and I'll just scroll on social media for a minute, and next thing you know, they've lost an hour of sleep. And that happens a lot more than parents often realize. So these are some of the ways that screen time and device use can negatively impact sleep for kids. So let's talk about a few simple things that we can do to help with that. The first is to put a rule in place that kids shut down their devices a minimum of 45 minutes before it's time for bed. 60 minutes or more is even better, but a minimum of 45 minutes so that it gives the brain time to start producing more of that melatonin to help them be able to fall asleep. We don't want them using devices or being exposed to the blue light from those devices close to their eyes as it gets towards bedtime. So shutting down devices at least 45 minutes before bedtime. There are also some apps and some features, some settings on a lot of devices now that can minimize the impact of the blue light. And so you want to look on your child's or your own device settings to see there's different features that you can set that as it gets later into the day, the light shifts on the screen to make the impact of that blue light less and less. So that's something to look at as well. I also think it's really important to set a rule that kids and teens not have electronic devices in their bedroom at night. Not only can that be a safety issue for kids, but also there's the sleep disruption that can happen. When kids are on devices or have the temptation to use them in the night, it can create a problem for them falling asleep and staying asleep, not to mention that there, as I said, can be the safety issues with that. So that's another simple rule that we can set to help kids get better sleep. And I use in my own family and recommend at the clinic an app like Custodio that makes it easy to implement these solutions. It makes it easy to have devices shut off before bedtime so that the blue light isn't an issue. Makes it easy to not have kids using apps and those things on their devices in the night. So by all means, look into some things like that to make life easier for yourself as a parent to actually implement these kinds of things. I hope this information helps your kids and even you get an even better night's sleep. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back next time with more family-friendly tech tips.